Hello, everybody, and welcome again to the Real Collective Podcast. I'm Brendan McKeegan. With me, as always, is Sean Tassay. And if you are a fan of the podcast, or if you're new, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the channel. Besides the podcast, we also have some tremendous listing videos and other useful tidbits on there. You can also, like I said, Apple Podcast, Spotify, wherever fine podcasts are sold. Don't forget to find us on Napster and LimeWire. Sean, how are you?
Just getting out of the time machine, out of my Napster. Yeah, that's brings back that DJ with the headphones. That was great. Yeah, man, good. It's smoky again here. We're recording on Friday, so whenever you watch this video, it's I guess the smoke is mostly cleared, it seems, but it's hot. It's nice. Wanted to have a bit of a conversation today about assigning contracts, signing agreements of purchase and sale. So we'll get into that. But overall, doing pretty good. Life is good. It's warm outside, and I think I feel like every time you ask me a question, it's always my answer has to do with the weather.
Yeah. I don't know why you go that route. I'm asking about you as a person, not about the weather. I have an app, and it tells me what the weather is.
I feel maybe my feelings are in line with what the weather is. I am one with the earth. How's that?
Oh, that's fun. Oh, well, why don't we get into this and let's get right into it. What is an assignment of purchase and sale? Like, what is an assignment?
Yeah. So yeah, I guess just to back it up 1 second and sort of answer the question of why, who cares? Why does it matter? Why are we talking about this? Person reached out recently and said, "Hey, we've seen your videos. I'm closing on a house in July, and I think I might want to sell it." And I said, "Well, have you considered assigning it?" And he sort of said, "Well, what does that mean?" Right? So I don't think a lot of people understand what it is to assign an agreement of purchase and sale, assign a contract, or how it might benefit them. So essentially, from when you're buying a house, you have a conditional period, you fulfill your conditions, you have a firm sale. In the time between your sale going firm and when you move into your home, all agreements of purchase and sale are written to have an allowance to assign that contract to someone else. So, hey, I've bought this house for $850,000. I can assign this contract to someone else for $860,000 or $840,000, provided that I, as the assignor, cover that difference between. There's a few things to take into account. If the person, the assignee, so the person who is the second in line, doesn't close, then the assignor, the person who originally bought that deal, bought that house, they are responsible to still close on the transaction. It's a different form that we use for an assignment. I have done, I think about 4 or 5 of them, going back over the last 5 years, and we work with a client who does them a lot, like hundreds of them per year, sort of thing, and that's how the whole how their whole business model is built. A lot of sort of high level investors will go through the idea of, hey, I'm going to go and I'm going to buy a place, and I'm going to assign it. I'm going to make money on that assignment deal, and sometimes it works, especially if the market's on an upward trajectory, or if you are a shrewd buyer and you understand, hey, what I'm buying here is a really good deal. If you understand market value for the particular property that you're looking at, and you're able to buy it for less than fair market value, there's a chance that you might be able to sell that paper, right? And instead of selling the house, you're selling the right to buy the house. Does that sort of make sense?
I think so.
Yeah.
It's I was trying to spin it in a different way, but then I realized that it doesn't quite make sense, and I was trying to like you're at a garage sale and you buy a dollhouse that is worth more, so you just resell that dollhouse. But in this situation, it's the agreement of purchase and sale that ends up being worth more now, so you try to assign it. Or sometimes it's worth less, but you have to get out of it, or you have to just sell it off, new job, whatever. But most of the time, I feel like it's an attempt to make money on something.
You're selling the paper. You're not selling the dollhouse. You're selling the right to buy the dollhouse, right? You see it a lot in new construction, right? Where a lot of investors will get in on the ground floor, pun not intended, of a multi-story condo building, and then as the project gets closer to completion, they'll turn around and they'll sell that, right? So they bought, one of the first condo apartments, and they bought it for the prices of 4 years ago, and they'll sell their right to close on the property in 2 months to, Joe Public, and they'll do that as an assignment sale.
Right.
Uh, and it's more common in new construction. It's actually more common in Toronto. It's not very common in Ottawa. And the reason it's common in new construction is because you have the insulation of time, right? You've got 3-4 years before the condo is being built. A lot of condo developers have sort of got wise to the idea and say, no, look, you can't assign this agreement, unless we're X number percent sold, right? They don't want to be in competition with people who already bought for, let's say the condo unit they bought was 450, and now the builder's selling the remaining condos at 500. They don't want to be undercut by someone assigning it for 475. There's a little bit of some things that you have to pay attention to when you're doing an assignment purchase. For example, the bank, if they're going to be financing the agreement, the bank will only finance the original agreement of purchase and sale. So, like we had one a couple of years ago where we represented the buyer, the first buyer, and they bought it for 450, and they assigned it for $25,000. Bank only loaned the money on the 450. They didn't loan the money on the 475, right?
Right.
Assignment fee, that difference between the 450 and the 475, or whatever the agreed upon markup, I guess, is, has to be paid by the assignee in cash somehow, right?
Yeah. Why, like, let's take a new build out of it, because a lot of times that happens with new builds. Plans change, that kind of stuff. But why would someone go about assigning something?
Yeah. Well, I think the one group of people is investors, and that's what they're doing, right? They're trying to buy things at 80 cents on the dollar and sell them for 90 cents on the dollar and make money on that margin. That's the easiest way to look at it. Some people will, like I said, some people will find a sweetheart deal and say, "Oh wow, I would, I don't really need to buy this house. I can buy it. I can close on it. I know that it's worth 500,000, and I can buy it right now for 460." It just seems like a deal that's too good to pass up, right?
Yeah.
So maybe they flip it to somebody else. Maybe they find someone who's there. Maybe they make 10, 15, 20 grand on flipping it to someone else. And that someone else is still buying it at less than market value, right? If true market value is 500 and the next person, the assignee, is buying it for 480, and the assignor stole it at 460, then I guess the answer is to make money, right?
Yeah.
Uh, the third type of person, and this is the gentleman who reached out to me last week. The third type of person has bought a property firm, and their life circumstance have changed. In this
Yeah.
particular example, he was moving down to the States, and he got a job. He bought a house. Had been looking for a while, 6 months or so. Found a place, bought it, and then was posted down to the States. And he's like, I close on this in July, and I don't need it. So he was given the option, I think, to walk away from the deal by the seller. This is all going through the lawyers. The seller says, "Well, look, you can walk away from the deal. You bought it for, I don't know, 750. You can walk away from the deal for 40 grand." Right? So he's like, "Wow, that seems like a lot of money. Why don't I just close on it and turn around and resell it?" Right?
Hmm.
Um, and sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't, and it's a risk. And my proposal at the time was, this is what prompted this whole thing. My proposal was, well, why don't you see if you can assign it before you worry about closing on it, and that, right? And so yeah, he's like, well, what does that mean? So this is what it means. So I'll share this video later on.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then you can and then it's here for everybody forever.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, handy dandy thing
Isn't it?
to
Yeah.
come and look at.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's get back into it in the second half. For now, we'll take a quick break and we'll hear from ourselves, which are our own sponsors. By the way, we have to pay them still. We will get back to ourselves very soon. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the channel. Download us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, YouTube, all those fun things. And we'll be right back here on the Real Collective Podcast.
This episode of the Real Collective podcast is brought to you by Real Collective. Real Collective brings together best-in-class real estate agents and collective experts in the field to deliver the best possible service to our clients. We govern ourselves with honesty, open-mindedness, and compassion. With diverse skill sets, our agents are able to better serve a wide array of clients, including first-time buyers, first-time sellers, transferees, estate sales, investors, and rural, vacation, and luxury properties. Authenticity and transparency are pillars of our process, which allows us to put our clients at the center of everything we do. Our years of experience and knowledge allow us to deliver prestigious service and optimal results. If you are interested in buying or selling your home, contact us today at realcollective.ca.
Welcome back to the second half, everybody. Hope you enjoyed that quick little video. And now we're back. We're back in the second half. The first half, we covered assignments. And the second half, we figured we're talking about a little bit on, I guess, the investing side of things when you're assigning an agreement. And why sometimes in this current market, maybe not the best. We did have some talks with someone a while ago that, mortgage rates being what they are and how they're ever changing. And that's what we've seen. We've seen it happen again.
Yeah, absolutely. The rates now are up. You're watching this. It's old news at this point because I think it was June 7th or something like that. That the Bank of Canada released the information about the rates going up by a quarter point, and that sort of has every time that the rates go up, it has a negative effect on the value of houses. Obviously, rates go up a quarter point, your $1 million house is going to cost you $250 more per month. Right? Well, people don't have an extra $250 a month right now. Nobody has any extra money. Maybe some people do, but no one that I talk to. Everything's more and more expensive, right? And so it will likely continue to put further negative pressure on house prices, which is too bad because we've seen them start to pick up over the last little while. But that's what we saw all last year. As the rates went up, the house prices came down. Was just talking with someone earlier today. An $800,000 house, for all intents and purposes, at the peak of the market was, had a monthly payment of about $3,000, give or take. And now, that same house, is maybe worth $650,000, and the payment is $3,000 a month because that house comes along with that payment, right? And that's a hard thing for people to understand. That there's sort of a direct correlation between monthly payments and the style of house, as opposed to necessarily a direct correlation between monthly payments and what the price of the house is, right? So the house prices all went down because the interest rates went up last year. While the interest rate was the same all year so far this year until about the halfway point, and then the interest rates go up. Well, what do we think is going to happen to the house prices? Right?
Exactly. It all ties in together.
Well, and buyers were starting to get like, oh, okay, this is good. The market seems to be picking back up. Things are a little bit better, yada yada. But I think it's just the beginning of the summer market, right? Things tend to slow down in Ottawa over the summertime. So,
yeah, and it's funny because we talk about it now and how people are like, I can't believe these interest rates and what they are and everything else, and it is what it is. Obviously, it's not fun when it goes up, but it's not like it's the highest it's ever been. There was just that. Did you share it in the group where like for our team where it was a news story from 1983 or something like that about mortgage rates, and they were interviewing people on the streets, and it was like mortgage rates are at an all-time low right now, but people are worried it's going to go back up. Or no, it's at an all-time high right now, and people think it'll never go back down. We're at 17.1%. And it was like, yeah, and they were interviewing people, and like, I don't think we'll ever see lower than 15 again. I think that's a pipe dream. We'll never see 15% lower on that. Mind you, a house was like $4. So
Yeah. It wasn't a gingerbread house either. It was an actual.
yeah, it was basically the price of what a car is now. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
And, to never say that, oh well, we'll never see that again, I think is short-sighted, right?
Oh, for sure.
We might see rates that go into the teens again. Who knows, right? I think to get there would have to be a really slow thing. I mean, if it happened, lots of things are going to hurt for a lot of people, I think. But
Yeah.
it's it could happen. It absolutely could happen. I think most people's financial freedom and family wealth is tied to their house. And I think everybody over the last 3-4 years has really had a great improvement in terms of the overall value of their family's net wealth. And the Bank of Canada has one lever to pull, and that
Yeah.
lever has an effect on every single person, or who owns a house. And it's kind of scary, right, to be dependent on a government body for your
Yeah.
sense of stability, financial stability. So
Yeah, I think that sounds about right. It's Friday, guys. We don't normally do these on Fridays, and now we're both just like, uh-huh. Oh, and then the week happened,
yeah,
and that's a thing.
we won a baseball tournament, Brendan, yesterday. It was a lot of fun.
Baseball tournament. It was like 3 games that were all 4 innings long.
Yeah, that's right. It was a baseball tournament for 4-year-olds.
It was man, some funny things going on when you have adults that have no idea the rules of the sports. It very much looks exactly like a child.
Give me one for example. The best one you saw.
Oh, the best one was when the dude, first of all, he's wearing like slacks, not like jeans, but like slacks. Like
Yeah.
he's wearing khakis.
Yeah.
And he's wearing a button-up shirt. Doesn't have a glove. Comes from a cricket background.
Yeah.
So the fact that he put the bat down is great.
Great guy.
Would not touch the bases. Just refused for whatever reason. Just like, put your foot on the bag. Yeah, it's right there, guys. Don't worry about it. I almost felt like he was doing it on purpose. And then when he finally did score, he kept going to first. He came home and then kept going to first. I've literally never seen that. And I've watched children play this game for my entire life. This is my sport. And I've never seen anybody round home and go back to first. And it was so funny. I was crying laughing. But then you think about it when you're coming from that cricket background, it kind of makes sense because you got 2 batters and they go back and forth until they get out.
Yeah.
Which he was probably out like 7 times, but whatever.
It was a wonderful person. I don't think he's ever played baseball, but
Oh yeah, like, but that's what you get a company softball tournament, right? Like you're gonna get people like, yeah, I'll do the thing, and you're like, yeah, sure, let's go.
No, it was fun. Great day for it. We were happy, and now it's Friday, and we're both kind of just like, yeah, let's do a podcast.
Yeah. So this is what you get, everybody. So before we do wrap things up, if you've ever assigned a home, I would like to know about it. How did it go for you? What happened? Put it in the comments. Let's talk about it. Maybe we have you on as a guest for another episode. If you have done it, that would be kind of fun. Just You don't need to be from the world of assigning a sale, but if you've happened to have done that, then let's talk about it. Same thing if the rates are affecting you in a positive way. Is that happening? No, it's not. It's not. Let's be honest, it's not helping. So you keep that to yourself. Yes, I'm buying more things in full cash because I'm very rich. So the home prices are great. Yeah, exactly. Well, then give me a call. We'll wrap things up for this one. We'll let you guys enjoy your weekend. We're going to enjoy ours now too. I'm Brendan McKeegan. This is Sean Tassay. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify. And until the next one, keep it real.
Collective.